Okay, so our last step is just to kind of check whether or not what we have written, what we have written is correct. And we do that by doing what this website was designed for, which is clicking here to play the dictation. This first part is only 6 seconds, and then as it plays we're going to practice our typing and see if everything we've written over here is correct. The first part we know because the first part is the same as this. So here's a kind of easy introduction, and let's see. Yeah, autocomplete, we're going to turn that off, and if we need any help there's a hint button, but I think we'll be okay.
The International Monetary Fund will need to find a new leader. The International Monetary Fund will need to find a new leader.
Hey, there we go.
The International Monetary Dominique Strauss-Kahn has resigned as managing director. Dominique Strauss-Kahn has resigned as managing director.
It's important to note they already had this up there because it's not key information. You shouldn't know how to spell it, so why would you want to waste time trying to spell it? So they already put this up there, so we have to start from has resigned here. Let's continue.
Dominique Strauss-Kahn has resigned. Mr. Strauss-Kahn is charged with a sexual attack on a cleaning woman at a New York hotel last Saturday. He said in a resignation letter released Thursday by the IMF that he denies the charges with the greatest possible firmness. He said in a resignation letter released Thursday by the IMF that he denies the charges with the greatest possible firmness. He said in a resignation letter released Thursday by the IMF that he denies the charges with the greatest possible firmness. He said in a resignation letter released Thursday by the IMF that he denies the charges with the greatest possible firmness.
Now actually this repeating is kind of annoying me a little bit, so I'm going to turn that off and go to the next one.
His fall has especially shocked Europe.
His fall has especially shocked Europe. Now if you remember, over here we've got fall shock EU, which to my mind is essentially the same thing. So the next one should be the IMF's job, or recently, is to rescue. So recently the IMF has spent a great deal of effort rescuing Greece, Ireland and Portugal. The EU depend on the IMF recently to rescue them from the financial crisis and their debt problems. So something like that.
The IMF is currently playing a major part in rescue loans to Greece, Ireland, and Portugal.
So the IMF is currently playing a major part in rescue loans to Greece, Ireland and Portugal. Probably something to do with currently would be useful here. Alright.
European nations have increasingly depended on the fund to help them in their recent struggles with debt.
EU have recently depended on the funds on the IMF to rescue them from recent debt. To help them, okay, to help them in their recent struggles with debt. Basically the same meaning. Basically the same, not exactly. So here's some history of the IMF. The IMF was formed in a conference in the US in 1944, so this should be our first one.
The IMF and the World Bank grew out of an international conference held in the United States in 1944. The IMF and the World Bank grew out of an international conference held in the United States in 1944.
It was created, so this is the purpose of why it was created, to aid in economic cooperation and development.
They were created as ways to support economic cooperation and development.
The conference was held in Washington, and then here we've got the two ideas. The World Bank is traditionally has a US leader, an American leader, and the IMF traditionally has a European leader.
The World Bank has traditionally been led. Both are based in Washington.
That's strange. What's going on here? Something strange. Both are both. There's something strange here. Based in Washington. I think the guy that uploaded it here said they are both based in Washington, or he thought this was a they. Because both could go here, and both could go here. Here's a subject. Both are based in Washington. Here he probably thought he replaced that with they, and then you could add both after the verb to be. But you saw, if I didn't have a clue, I just hit the hint, and it gave me the answer. Okay, next one.
The World Bank has traditionally been led by an American, and the IMF by a European.
Okay, so you can see what we're doing. We're just checking that our notes, first of all, that we understand them. Second of all, that they agree with exactly what has been written here. Thirdly, we're also practicing our typing skills, which, as you can see, I still need some practice with. I'm lots of spelling mistakes in my notes, but essentially we would now continue until the end. Very good practice for several of the skills you will need during the IBT TOEFL test.